fruitful and enlightening, and of course very, very satisfying that we saw the attitudes change within the different countries that we had to face. From what we did in October. In October, we did the Revalida, wherein the CSOs were the ones, through their experts, were the ones pointing out problems within the country. This time, it was the states. And coming from a UN resolution adverse to the Philippines 3 years ago, babe? 3 years ago. 3 years ago, what we saw in Geneva this time was a complete turnaround from what there was before. When the UN resolution is passed against a country, it's the majority of those participating that draw up a resolution. Meaning to say, if there were 117 countries like this one in the periodic review, out of the 179, 117 countries participated in the periodic review with us. At least 100 of them improved or actually sided with the Philippines already, or had positive notes about our country already. Around 15 only remained negative about us, but these are the usual countries that always pick on the Philippines. These are the rich countries from Europe that that are very, very high on individual rights and have no notion of community rights. So I think that we did very well. And actually, I think that we will be graduating by March from many of these things, no? Except the fact that we also push for more UNJP participation when it comes to capacity building for our country. That's the unique thing about it, no? There are special rapporteurs coming into the country. There are 2 of them on the sale of children and ano pa yung isa ba?
EJK.
No, besides that, EJK tayo. Anyway, there are 2 special rapporteurs coming over, no? Soon. Announced na yung pagdating nila. One is on the sale of children and another is on another issue on human rights. But we invited a 3rd one. Tayo na mismo nag-imbita na 3rd one on EJKs. Why? Because we want to increase or maybe do capacity building for our forensic pathologists in the country. Right now, we only have 2 licensed, legal, legitimate, and actually internationally accepted forensic pathologists in our country. The rest of them, medical legal experts, are medical legal experts, but not the level of forensic pathologists that we want in a country like ours. So we invited Special Rapporteur on EJK's Dr. Tidbol Beans to come over so that we can do capacity building so that we can train more forensic pathologists in the country. Why? Well, one is, of course, if there are murders or there are deaths that are untimely in the provinces, at least they can help us with the investigations. If our people are trained already in the art and the science of forensic pathology, then we will have experts determining the results. But the other side of it, of course, the long term, is really capacity building for disasters. Like, remember Yolanda, when there are thousands of bodies who had to be processed because the cadavers had to be processed because of the numerous deaths in Yolanda. International teams of forensic pathologists went here to help us. And the special rapporteur was part of that, no? Si Dr. Tidbol Beans. And he welcomed our invitation actually, our invitation was more of a follow-up already on an agreed program that we had in the UNJP for capacity building of our forensic pathologists. So what they saw was a country open to suggestion, a country does not deny that there are problems within the system, but who is open to suggestions and open to improving whatever situation there is here. We do not hardball and say that's not true. What we're saying is that if there is room for improvement, we will take it on. And I think this is the attitude that is really healthy for international relations, because it's a caring gesture that they want to show us, and we also we reciprocate this caring gesture by of course being open to all of these suggestions to our country. Yun, so basically, I think that we are in the right track, and that kaunti na lang talaga yung sobra yung ano sa atin na talaga meron talagang bias towards the Philippines. The other repertoire is freedom of expression and media na pupunta rin dito. And we are hoping to engage them. We are hoping to invite them to the DOJ for a special dialogue for any issue that they want to bring up. Okay, so that's, I believe, one of the better things that happened through this month of November, where we were able to do what we had to do and do what had to be done in Geneva. Okay.
The floor is now open for questions. The reporter will please stand and use the microphone, and please indicate the media outlet that you represent. Thank you.
Sir Salima of GMA7. Sir, you mentioned yung mga special rapporteurs coming. Kailan po natin nakikita ito na pupunta sila? And how do you think that would impact yung situation po in the country?
We expect them to be here early 2023, beginning early 2023. We will be in communications with the UNJP office about the arrangements to be made. Kasi this is capacity building, meaning to say every region is involved, every part of the country is involved. We want every region to have a forensic, a medical legal who is also a forensic pathologist, or at least trained already in forensic pathology. It's a long drawn program. Pero yung iba kasi bibisita dito to engage us, no? On the sale of children, alam niyo naman that we already declared war on OSAIC, no? On OSAIC. And basically this is a follow up on what they wanted to do us to do before, and we are already doing. Kaya sabi ko nga, if you look at the whole picture, 200 suggestions or 200 recommendations were accepted. Is something very new to our country. Kasi dati we would defer them, o kaya minsan meron talagang ayaw talaga natin tanggapin. Pero dito kasi you have to do it in full humility of your limitations, and of course the problems that are really there. Kasi hindi naman kahit deny mo yan, pag nandyan yan eh. So might as well accept what has to be accepted, since we believe we are doing something about the problems that they are putting recommendations for.
Hi, sir. Good morning po. Sir, over the weekend, you also mentioned in your radio show that the country also rejected the proposal for same-sex marriage and the SOGI bill. A lawmaker already clarified that there's no mention of same-sex marriage in the SOGI bill proposal. What's your take on that?
Well, this legislation is there every Congress. Meron na file niyan. And it's a matter of policy that whether we will accept it or not. And I think that we know as a country that we are not ready for that. That's the only thing that's sabi natin eh, culturally, our values may conflict with many of the values that they want to impose upon us. Kasi minsan imposition na nangyayari, and we are not ready for that. Culturally, we are not ready for that. That's what we believe, huh? Unless somebody argues otherwise, and that's our position right now.
Sec, good morning. Mike po sa ABS-CBN News. Sec, over the weekend then you mentioned that one of the reasons cited for not accepting yung divorce, abortion, same-sex marriage is because we are a Catholic nation. To what extent is that? To what extent is religion a factor in this, Sec? Because we do have a non-establishment clause in the Constitution.
Well, divorce, it's debatable, no? But we cannot immediately grant it unless the legislature properly debates about it and lays down all the premises, advantages and disadvantages. Actually, I think we're the only country, together with the Vatican, that still does not recognize divorce. And we just do not recognize it because the premises have not been laid out properly. We want the legislature to do their job here. That's why we cannot commit to it, is because we cannot impose upon the legislature policy that they have to do within Congress. When we were told by the UN, by kasi ano nga tayo, di ba? We have the legislature, the executive, judiciary, independent branches of government, and we cannot impose upon the others. Actually, it's a long discussion with the UN on this matter because they are of the opinion that if you go to the table, you should be able to tell your country what has to be done. But of course, it does not work that way with us. Our respect for the separate branches of government is paramount because that's the way our government was formed. Gusto nila, impose namin sa Congress yung gagawin. Minsan, yung gusto nila, impose natin sa judiciary yung decision. We cannot do that. And then the timetables that they want us to do it cannot happen. Ano yan, legislative matter kasi yung divorce, kaya hindi natin talaga pwede ipangako sa kanila. We have to reject it.
So it's more of the legislature and the judiciaries involved.
Yes. Ano yan, the legislature, it is the debate within the policy makers in the legislature. Because you have to change a law. The law to be amended has to be passed upon, it has to go through the proper process.
Check, may ibang question ko ba on UPR? Pwede bang magtanong on another matter?
UPR muna. Tapusin muna natin ang sa periodic review. Ano pa, no? One more thing about the periodic review. We noticed that a lot of CSOs, yung mga organizations within the country that were very, very critical of what we were doing. But these are the same organizations that only go to Europe to destroy the image of our country. I don't think they have any other agenda but to destroy our country or to give our people a hard time. These are CSOs that are somehow linked to the armed movement against government. Itong mga yung terrorism, linked to terrorism. Yung those who cry red tagging, those who cry about issues of this nature. Sila lang naman talaga sumisira sa atin eh. Otherwise, I think our country is in the right direction. We're in the right direction.
Sir, good morning. Ben Pulta po sa Philippine News Agency. Sir, tangential lang yung question ko, hindi talaga swa. Kasi you mentioned, sir, na yung one of the morally reprehensible na provisions that we outrightly rejected in the UPR was yung the use of more access to abortifacients. Parang gano'n nata, sir. Sir, gusto ko sana contextualize. Meron na bang advice or nag-send out na ba si President on the official policy in connection with population control? Kasi there's this sentiment that half, maybe or more than half of the country's problems related to population, and there was efforts in previous administrations, even the time of Pinoy, to pass. And actually, they passed the RH law, but in implementation, it got stalled even up to the time of President Duterte. I think he said, he even asked that maybe we should just donate all these medicines that we already bought to a country that would allow its use, pero walang nangyari doon, sir. So it went to waste. Meron na ba, sir, statement on how to go about addressing the problem of population? Ako, sir, hindi masyado sa inyo, pero tangential lang siya doon sa abortion, sa abortifacient.
Well, population is a problem to many, but not to some. In fact, if you look at our country right now, ang average age natin is the average age that all the world desires. Kasi nga, we're a very dynamic country right now compared to the rest of the world, which is aging so fast. Tayo, we have a very dynamic population, so to speak. Kaya it's actually a debatable topic about population. So, be that as it may, we have to discuss more on the policy of population growth because lumalabas kasi there are benefits and there's just the good and bad about a big population. Sometimes we have to look at it from the point that it's also good to have a big population. We just have to learn how to take care of our people more. At least sana yung mga on the throes of poverty, we can care more about our people who are really poor, who have no access to a lot of things, a lot of help. Yun lang, we have sana maging inclusive lang ang growth sa lahat. That's actually the prayer that we have. It's a prayer, but it's worth it because when other countries look at the Philippines, it's looked upon as a very dynamic population.
So this is Margo from SMNI. Can we name some major recommendations or significant recommendations na tinanggap po ng Philippine delegation? Thank you.
Yusek Vasquez will answer that.
The major ones that were accepted would be promotion of the rights of children, protection of women's rights, the promotion of the rights of indigenous peoples, and the fact that there would be greater protection of the civic space. Those are the major ones that were accepted outrightly without any clarification or reservation.
Or mass media, access to information, matters that are actually within our Bill of Rights. Why should you say no to matters that are actually policy to us already? Kasi actually advanced nga tayo sa human rights kung tutuusin. We're very much advanced about human rights and we're doing it already. So
Pwede na ibang matter. Sec, there are reports about supposedly Superintendent Zulueta. Baka raw pinatay na si Zulueta. Do you have any information on this?
I will not speculate. I have no news, I have no information, and I will not speculate.
But do you have information as to where he is?
I had information a week ago on where he was. At least. May nagsabi lang sa sources natin.
But do we have tracker teams trying to locate them? We don't have a warrant of arrest.
Our people are working. My people are working.
But are they still here? Bantag and Vasquez? No, Bantag and...
Bantag is here, definitely.
sorry, you said. Bantag and Zulueta. Are they still here?
I think they're here. Basta, I will not speculate on anything. It's premature to do something like that. It's too premature to talk about things that I have no information on.
All right. Sec, on Friday, the head of Atom Corporation said that they withdrew from the joint venture agreement. So is this the first time that we're hearing from Atom? Does this mean they were not informed months ago that, in fact, the JVA has been cancelled or has not been approved by the president, former president?
Ano yan eh? Panahon pa ni Secretary Guevara yan nung meron ng memorandum against it eh. Meron na silang notice kay DJ Bantag about this not being a viable thing or not legally feasible or invalid. Meron na silang ganyang memorandum pa. I think that was in the year 2021 pa nung lumabas yan. Kaya hindi na namin pinag-uusapan because they have not submitted to us any follow-up on the matter. They have not written us about pursuing the project. Kaya for me, it was really a no-brainer. Wala siya, no? Ang na-alarm lang talaga ako nung sinabi niya sa akin na he was doing treasure hunting and I told him to stop it. And apparently, he ignored me, no? Meron pa yon. Meron pa ako sinabi sa kanya na ignore niya. Yung sabi ko, dapat wala ng telepono. As a matter of policy, wala dapat telepono talaga. And hundreds of telephones are coming out now. Basta ini-ignore niya eh. Parang he was living in his own kingdom with his own rules. Ayun ang naging problema natin. I think that you are now aware of the big problem that there really is in there. Yung contraband na nandun, ina-accuse niya si acting DG Katapang na pinlant yan. Ang galing mo naman mag-plant, no? Ang dami na testigyo kagad kung paano pinasok yan. Pero ano yan eh, it was a centralized operation eh. For that quantity to come into Bilibid, it was a centralized operation.
Sec, follow-up sa interview niyo kanina kay Kabayan. You mentioned that Atom was involved in the excavation sa Bilibid. Do we have information on this, Sec? Because General Katapang was saying last week na hindi raw Atom yung nagukay. In fact, the backhoe there is owned by Bucor.
Yes. But with the amount of debris taken out, and you only have one backhoe, kahit mag-time and motion ka kasi, hindi aabot ng 1 million cubic meters ang hinukay nun. Kahit anong gawin mo, no? So there were more equipment used, and these were reported to be owned by Atom. Kasi ano, 1.2 million ba? 1.2 million cubic meters were removed from the site and brought somewhere else. So we're not talking about the need for another 1.2 million cubic meters to fill in the hole on Earth. Dapat matakpan naman natin ngayon yan. So gagastos na naman tayo para takpan yan. Unless you want to propose a project for a giant swimming pool. Or a deep sea diving resort in a mountain or in a hilly area. Diba?
So, do we know kung saan napunta yung lupa? Do you have information?
We'll track it. Geo ano yan eh. Meron geo study yan na pwedeng gawin on the kind of debris removed and where it was brought. We will follow the clues given to us about it.
Sec, offhand, what kind of cases can be filed against DG Bantag with respect to this excavation?
I have asked my staff to study all possible cases that are there. Definitely, may damage na sa government eh. Yung hukay na yan, para ma-fill up mo ulit, will cost us a lot of money, a lot of time. So there's damage already. A giant swimming pool, of course, is not in the budget of Bucor, so we don't know where this project is coming from and who's funding it. And if there's any fund, if there's any joint venture of Bucor, it has to be told to the Department of Justice kung meron silang ginagawa, di ba? So we just, we will have our staff study all the possible violations of law that happen.
Sec, lastly, is DG Bantag also liable for entering into that agreement, joint venture agreement with Atom unilaterally?
Kung hindi niya na pinursue, and he first submitted it to the president at that time, President Duterte, if he went through the process under the BOT law, wala sanang problema. Pero mukhang the idea was really to pursue it with or without permission under their own legal theory about how powerful or what the mandate of the Bucor is. Remember, there's a Bucor modernization law giving it corporate powers. But of course, all of this is subject to limitations because they're also under national laws, like the BOT law. So, if you look at the sale of the property, the sale joint venture of the property, being an unsolicited proposal, there must have been a process followed. Pero apparently, there is no other bidder or there's no other person that came in to ask if they can challenge it. No? Sana may Swiss challenge yan. Pero wala eh. It became a deal personally entered into by somebody who thought that or was acting under the impression that he was independent of all the other processes of government. Apparently, there's a problem there.
Sir Marlene Alcaide from TV5. Sec, Bantag po in a recent interview, sinabi po niya na patunayan daw na iiral pa rin yung hustisya o kung may hustisya pa din na makukuha siya.
Ang hustisya kasi, ano yan eh, blindfolded lady ang sabi natin, di ba? Ano man blindfolded lady? Bakit gano'n? Kasi that's the justice system. Meron tayong judges and justices who are supposed to be always above any bias against anybody, di ba? Ang trabaho ng prosecution is to prosecute. That's what the DOJ is all about, is prosecution. The National Prosecution Service, the NPS, di ba? It is an executive function. So all of this drama, I don't know where it's going, no? But it's a lot of drama. Ganun talaga ang batas eh. He's ano siya eh, di ba? He's a person in authority eh. He is a man in uniform. He should know the rights of people and the law. And if the law is violated, he should know the consequences. So justice should be not far from what he thinks it is to be. But dapat sinabi niya na dati yan kung may problema ang justice system. Pero parang ngayon eh, I don't really want to dignify anything if you think about it.
Sec,
Alvin Murcia po sa Daily Tribune. Clarify ko lang po kasi sabi nung kampo nila wala pang nibantag, wala pang nare-receive na subpoena. Napa-serve na po ba?
Hindi, basta ano yan, the DOJ is doing its job. Okay? Whether or not he received it, there's a process for it. Whether it will be left at his last known address, or it will be served on his lawyer, or served to him, is a problem of the DOJ, in accordance with the rules set out by the Supreme Court also on this matter.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, pa-clarify ko lang, sir, yung uli dun sa yung tanong ni Mike about the contract entered with Atom, without preempting the ombudsman, sir, would you say that it was clear that undue advantage was given to that corporation by, and ngayon na scuttled na yung plan, does it affect kung may liability ba siya or ano ba?
It's up to the ombudsman. And it's up to the courts to decide that later. But definitely, there is a process that has to be followed when you want to develop by joint venture a government property. Apparently, that process was not followed in this case. Kasi dapat yan, tapos na yan. But for Atom to remain in the premises and participate in one way or the other in the digging is another matter.
Hey, Sir Salima ulit. Sir, na-interview din po namin itong pong president of Atom. Tapos ang sinasabi niya, he met with you daw po.
Yes.
Can you tell us po ano po yung nangyari during that meeting? Ano po yung nilatag nila sa inyo and what was your response?
Ano nga wala naman makukuha sa meeting na verbal kung wala silang written submissions na pwede namin aktuhan. You know that, di ba? There was no written submission. So how can we act on any request? So nagkikwentuhan lang kami. And ano ba yung kwento ron? Well, he wanted to develop Bilibid into a real estate venture and replace it with land in Nueva Ecija that he owned. Basically, yun yung kwento ron Kaya lang, wala siyang papeles na binigay sa amin about that matter. Apparently, we found out later that he donated land already, which of course he is rescinding, donations he is rescinding, kasi dapat ililipat daw nila yung buong National Bilibid Prison sa Nueva Ecija, sa General Tino. Yun ang plano nila But I was never in on that plan because as SOJ, I have to look at the overall future of our correction system. I am not project bound. I look into the universe of the problem. Kaya nga regionalization, decongestion, yung atin kasi proactive measures to improve the correction system. Hindi ho tayo project based na mahilig sa real estate. We don't want real estate to get into the way of good work. Tsaka yun, yung ang mangyayari kasi ron, you're not improving anything. Ililipat mo lang yung mega prison and it's the same thing all over again.
Kung dumaan sila sa proseso, tapos they were open to your suggestions, would you have been, I don't know, somewhat parang open?
Speculative question yan Kasi dumaan na nga sila sa proseso nung sinabihan sila ni Secretary Guevara na hindi pwede yung ginagawa nyo. Tapos na yun Doon pa lang tapos na yun Kaya lang pwede ba, ang Pilipino ba pag may bisita, tinataboy ba niya yung tao? We don't do that Di ba? Mayor Bote of Atom is a politician also. He did business in Cavite, kaya kilala ko siya somehow because of his wife. So I cannot be unfriendly to him. It's decency na dapat mabait tayo sa bisita natin. Hindi tayo nagpapalayas ng tao dahil may problemang gano'n. Yun lang, wala siya sinasabit na written. Wala rin sinasabit sa akin na written si DG Bantag. Sila dalawa nag-uusap dyan. Hindi ako kasama sa usapan nila. Kung ano talagang usapan nila sa bagay-bagay dyan. Basta nakita ko lang that ang tanong na pumapasok sa isip ko, kaya ba ni DG Bantag gawin yung paghuhukay mag-isa? Diba? On his own, with only one backhoe. Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito is 1.2 million cubic meters.
Sir, may information daw po na yung filling material ay isinakay sa truck ng Bucor at dinala raw po sa Caloocan?
I have no idea. I have no idea. We will follow the trail. Anyway, kung gano'n ang information, if you have information, tell us kasi it will help us look at where it went and what happened to it. So, tulungan nyo kami para makita natin to.
Sir, Manny po from DCWB. SOJ, sir. Morning po. Sir, kung hindi ba makikipagtulungan yung ACOM sa investigation of any government agency in relation doon sa paghuhukay at kung lalabas na may kinalaman din sila, are they equally liable po for any case that might come out?
So, Ombudsman, even the Sandigan Bayan has tried private persons when they are in collusion with public officials.
So, is it best, sir, na
It's a speculative question, but we don't know. If we will know it when we get there, if charges will be filed by the Ombudsman once they are informed of the facts.
Hi, Sec. Balikan ko yung Yamashita Treasure. Sabi po ni DJ Bantag, wala daw po siyang natandaan na nasabi niya sa iyo. Ano pong masasabi?
Wala. It's word against mine.
Last question.
Sir, may iba pa po ba kayong na-discover? Anything you'd like to reveal to us about po the situation in the NDP?
Ang tawag dyan, meron jurisprudence dyan, di ba? Fishing expedition, sabi ni Asek Lavano. Well, ano yan sa search warrants, hindi pwedeng general warrant. Di ba? Now, anyway, marami pang lumalabas. I was in conversation last night with General Katapang, and he was telling me more things about what he was discovering inside. Magaling talaga si General Katapang sa ganyang bagay. I actually admire the guy for sticking it out and being cool under all the tirades against him.
Sure, one last question.
Oh, sir, dagdag speculation lang po dito Pero yung kasi sir, General Bantag in defending himself dun sa report ni Percy, he claims that all those vehicles is not mine. Sabi niya, it's a Bucor vehicles. Pero at the same time, sinasabi niya na he has been working since he was young. So sinasabi niya, there's this wealth. Di ba? Ang tanong ko, sir, would the administration be inclined to pursue possible forfeiture dun sa any goods na makita natin na beyond the amount he would have earned legally?
Ano yan? Just putting the cart before the horse. Or, I don't know how you describe it, but that's very speculative talaga. As you said it, it's speculative. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Sige, we will provide information to all on that matter. Kasi hindi ko pa nababasa yung memo completely. I've only glanced through it. I want to study it first before we release it. No? JV, yes, we will look at it. Kasi it might prejudice the case kasi kung marami tayong masyadong isulat, baka mamaya ongoing case yan, baka ma-prejudice yung rights ng mga taong tatamaan, tapos tayo na naman lahat may kasalanan, di ba? So let's play it cautiously. Okay, thank you.